You got it, Saf, you know?
Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finale run of Speed 4. My name is Lord Fluffy, and this is Titanfall 2. Now, I just want to say, you all have done a fantastic job with this. You have given us so much money for charity, a fantastic cause, and you did this, okay? I want you all to know you did this. With that being said, uh,
I wasn't ready.
No one ever is.
No one ever
Never
is
ready.
for this. But that being said, I'm not feeling the greatest, so I may not necessarily be commentating as much as I normally would right now. But with me, I do have two lovely co-commentators. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Viz. I'm going to be commentating this run, this amazing all helmets run from Fluffy. I'm just a regular old Titanfall 2 speedrunner. Been probably playing this game for too long.
Hi, I'm Sapphire and Pink. I have also been playing this game for far too long. I'm here as emotional support.
Yeah, Sap is here. I am likely coming down with the flu my brother has had the last 2 days, so I'm not necessarily feeling the greatest right now. So, if need be, Saf will be here to take over commentary for me. If not, I just appreciate Saf being here. Thank you very much, Saf, for that. All right.
XOXO.
So, all helmets, the name of the game is, as the title implies, is to complete the game while getting every single helmet in the game. To do that, we start from new game, which resets the mission select as well as the helmets. I mentioned mission select, and we'll get to that later. So we'll start off. Timing will begin when I press space to start out of this loading screen. There's one last thing I need to do here. Make sure everything is correct. Okay, we should be good. Sorry, there's a setting that I need to make sure is okay. There we go. Perfect. All right. So on go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So, what I'm legally obligated to say at the beginning of every single Titanfall 2 speedrun marathon is that Titanfall 2 runs on a heavily modified version of the source engine. This means that alongside the array of parkour mechanics that Titanfall 2 has, we will also be taking advantage of source engine holdovers, most notably bunny hopping and air strafing. We'll be using a variant of it called slide hopping because sliding in this game, the slide mechanic gives us a lower friction value and subsequently makes it a much better option in most situations than bunny hopping, bee hopping, and Viz can take over from here.
I just thank you for saying your court-mandated the game runs on a heavily modified version of the source engine.
You are
Absolutely. Alrighty, you can see Fluffy is going to be immediately leveraging that air control we get, that source holdover of air strafing. And you're going to also notice that our air strafing is going to be a little bit more controlled, a little bit more measured, a little bit slower than what you might expect from something like a Half-Life. We're going to talk about how that affects things, but really the biggest thing to know is that we can't take corners as fast, but we can still build speed as no per usual. And slide hopping is just going to be that bread and butter movement alongside our wall mechanics. Now, as Fluffy picks up this EPG, I'll pass it back to him to explain a little bit more about Gauntlet.
Well, we're not getting the EPG this time, but that's okay. We do a reload skip there, start a reload animation with one gun, and then swap to another. That allows us to skip the reload animation. Now we head on over to the Gauntlet. We need to complete this quickly. We're going to be taking advantage of damage boosting in order to do that. We are in the Gauntlet right now, which is a simulation, and we can't die in the Gauntlet, so we are free to take the riskiest frag boost that we want in order to build up as much speed as we're looking for. We're looking for a lot of speed and a lot of height here, because we're trying to get to this helmet, the first helmet in the run right over here. Accidentally side jumped into that, so couldn't keep the full momentum, but still got through that fairly quickly. We go into the Gauntlet, start it again, and then come back in. This skips a little bit of extra dialogue, and with that, all the gameplay in the tutorial level of the game is done. From here, we're more or less just on a set timer to the end of the level. And something to note about those damage boosts is because we can't die, as I said, we can take, I forgot the dialogue there. We can take a bit more aggressive frag boosts than we would normally. Going for those damage boosts with frags and with EPGs There are basically radiuses from the center of the explosion that will just outright kill us if we are not in the gauntlet. So frag boosts and EPG boosts going forward in the run, we will be taking a little bit safer by trying to time their detonations and throw them in specific ways in order to avoid entering those kill radiuses and die. But with that being said, I'm going to take this opportunity real quick to, as we come to the end of the level, we fade to black. I'll be mashing the spacebar, and the reason I'll be mashing the spacebar is twofold. Number one, it gets through the menuing we have to do at the very end of this level as fast as possible. The second thing is the menu will actually hover over the easy difficulty because there's a difficulty selection. It'll hover over the easy difficulty very briefly before going to the recommended difficulty of the gauntlet. So, because it hovers over easy very quickly, not only do we menu through as fast as possible, it also selects the easy difficulty for us if we do it fast enough, which is perfect because we want to run on easy lest we enter the realm of dying to just randomly being shot from across the map, which does happen on higher difficulties. Ooh, okay. So, next up is going to be the first real level of the game, and as we come into that, we'll be getting some master spacebar here. Select easy, perfect. As we get into this first level, we'll explain a couple things, non-vanilla things about the game that you may have already noticed, and that is the speedometer and the text at the bottom left corner of the screen that says CKF. So, we allowed early on in Titanfall 2 a live split integration to have a speedometer. Live split would read the game's data and tell us how fast we're going, and we could use that information to help us whenever we're routing things, because knowing how fast you're going can be very useful for knowing, you know, if you got a good enough speed for certain tricks. So we eventually integrated that into the speedrun menu mod that we use and is allowed into the community. And CKF stands for something known as crouch kick fix. And basically a version of the wall kick that we use called crouch kicks, which I'll explain a little bit later. There's effectively an element to it where if you have any non-zero delay between your crouch and your jump inputs, it effectively turns crouch kicks into RNG. So what this crouch kick fix does is adds an 8 millisecond buffer to your crouch and jump inputs that activates when you send one input, and after 8 milliseconds sends either both inputs if you hit them in that window, or just the one input. And it's a way to effectively remove the RNG from crouch kicks, which was a huge quality of life change because of simply how many crouch kicks there are in the route. So, as we come through that first cutscene, we're going to head into a little bit of a gameplay section here where we don't have the full array of parkour movement, but we still have slide hopping and air strafing. And we're also going to do something called a super glide as we come out of this cutscene, which is hitting the crouch and jump inputs to get right at the speed instantly. So here we go. We hit sprint and then crouch and jump. Gets us right up to 32. We'll do a bit of air strafing to get ourselves up to speed. Want to pick up an R201 here for later. And now we enter what is known as the infamous 18-hour cutscene. This is a very long cutscene right at the start of the game, and it's named after a line that comes out during this run, in which Bliss says, "We have 18 hours! 18 hours until the Ark is sealed and ready for delivery." That wasn't perfect, but I'll do it better later. Don't worry about it.
Great every time.
So, this cutscene, I'll take a good time to explain the parkour mechanics that Titanfall 2 has. As mentioned, there's the slide. Every 3 seconds or so, the game will let you do a slide boost whenever you're sprinting into a crouch input. The slide has lower friction value, which is what we use for slide hopping. We have wall running, which we can jump off the wall to gain a 12 km/h impulse to our current speed. Wall kicks is a thing that we do where if we jump off the wall in the first 5 ticks of being on the wall, we will effectively gain a speed boost over. Crouch kicks is hitting both the jump and the crouch input when going for a wall kick, which is the advanced variant that we use. And again, the thing that CKF allows us to remove the effective RNG element from. There's also a few other things such as mantles, and generally speaking, the most prominent tech is going to be the wall kicks. There's many portions throughout the game in which we go from wall kick to wall kick, and every single time that we can get like a first frame wall kick, we can gain ridiculous amounts of speed over and over and get up to speeds that are simply unbelievable to see. So hopefully I can land some really good wall kicks during this section. Now, for this part of the cutscene, there is a little bit of gameplay here. However, this gameplay is effectively just an auto-scroller because you have to be willfully negligent in order to lose time here. All you really need to do is have plenty of time to get to a position, hold the E button to enter the next part of the cutscene. But before that, we can do a little bit of lore here. So we are a militia rifleman, effectively a low-level soldier in the militia, the rebellious group fighting against the IMC, a super conglomerate of corporations. This is our teacher, Lastimosa. And we just shot him, so Lastimosa is about to have his last moments, and he's doing a very rare thing in universe where he is transferring control of his Titan, authorizing us to use his Titan, as well as giving us his helmet and his jump kit. So, despite not having those parkour movements right out of the gate at the start of this level, as we enter the next part of the level, we will have access to all of that, with one exception being the double jump. And that's a key thing to note, because the double jump in Titanfall 2, any movement mistakes you generally make in Titanfall 2, you can typically correct it very easily with a double jump in some form. But since we won't have that for the start of this level, all of our movement has to be pretty purposeful in order to avoid falling into the many pits in this first section of the level. So, I've been yapping for 5 minutes. Viz, if you want to take over for a little bit, I should rest my voice a bit.
Yep, I gotcha. Alrighty, as Fluffy's going to put on this helmet, they're going to hold backwards and then time a couple jumps to then grab this wall and immediately jump off it to get themselves a good speed boost, because normally that's a scripted walk section. Going to pick up this EVA 8 shotgun, going to be a very good friend for us, because shotguns, when we're going so fast and enemies appear right in front of our face, very useful to have. Oop, slight movement to stay here, but we can easily back that up with a little bit of wall riding. Very nicely done. Gonna try to get these prowlers out of the way and grab helmet number 1 of BT. Ooh, very nice mantleless setup going on over there. And we're just gonna keep on making our way, and basically the goal of this level right now is that BT, we have access and control over BT, but he's a little bit low on energy. He needs a little bit of juice. So we're gonna go try and see if we can find some batteries. We're gonna do some particular movement here to skip pathing around the circle of this room, namely called Circle Room for quite obvious reasons. And now we're going to go to try to cross Death River. Death River, also called this for obvious reasons that hopefully will not come to fruition, and they do not. Fluffy executes that very, very nicely. Alright, and we're heading on up near to the first ship, and we are about to escape the terror of having only one jump, because as we hit this platform right here, we're going to immediately get access to our double jump, and now we have full access to our full movement kit right now. And we're going to keep on moving, excellent chain all the way up, and just keep on going right on to grabbing our very first battery. This is going to be one of the few batteries we need to give BT a pick-me-up and have him join us on our lovely jaunt of an adventure. Ooh.
Yeah. So
what do you think the batteries taste like?
Probably switch cartridges. Alright, so here we're doing something known as a slant boost, where we hit a slope at a specific angle, and that changes all of our vertical momentum into horizontal momentum. We're going to cook a frag, try and throw it in such a way that we killed all of the enemies. We did not end up throwing it in the right position. Looks like I unfortunately missed one there. Ideally, it would have hit the rock and killed everybody, but no big deal. Now that we've done that, we're going to head into a very difficult section, Ravine, so you can take it away again.
Alrighty, right into ravines. Like Fluffy said, very difficult section, but first we have to do this little river jumping. Ooh, more difficult than you may imagine, and you can see it be showcased right there. It is, the geo there is not as it may seem. It is quite finicky. If you land in a spot, there's just no friction, you'll just slide slowly down or quickly down to your doom. So it can be a little bit finicky there. Fluffy's gonna go for it one more time. Looks good. Nice. Very well done. Alright. Now we're gonna wait with bated breath and hope and see a really good blue ravine. Oh my god, what a frag boost. We're gonna hope and see a couple wall kick chains. Ooh. elevation was a little bit off, but Fluffy's going to be able to chain some more wall movement together to get back their speed. Remember, walls are a source of speed. They're not just something to run on. They're a source of speed. And hopefully, 57, really good recovery going on. And, I mean, really stellar ravine. I mean, Saf, you can tell me, right? That was a really good recovery.
Yeah, I think that was a beautiful recovery, truly and deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Those walls allow you to collect so much speed back that you've lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Now
the
we're
funniest
into the
thing about
final
that
ship.
ravine is the fact that the frag boost was actually too good. I rarely ever get speeds that high, and my strafing was really good, so I had more speed than I'm typically used to there. So I overshot the first place I was supposed to land on. Fun fact about this little vent is all you have to do is hold forward and spam jump, and you'll get through it as fast as possible. We'll pick up the second battery here and go for another slant boost here. This slant boost, we're going to try and head into battery number... Or, sorry, not battery, but... Okay, that didn't work, so we'll try again here. Helmet number 2. Good checkpoint, thankfully. Let's try this again. Nope, not getting greatest here, but we'll take a quick little back up to jump off of that debris and pick it up, and that is helmet number 2. So now we're going to head into a section where we're going to have to kill some specters. We're going to try for a few specific things here. We're going to try and throw us a couple frags. Take them all out at once if we can manage. Doesn't look like we did. Is it this guy? Is it you? Where is he? Oh, he's right here. Okay. Whoop, getting caught up. Alright, so that is the pilot section of BT-7274 all done and dusted at this point. So now we are going to embark into BT, and we're going to head into the Titan tutorial section, which is supposed to teach us the general gist of the first loadout and how Titans work. So each Titan loadout that we'll pick up, a few of these across the course of the run, you can effectively treat them like different characters in a hero shooter, such as something like Marvel Rivals, where they each have their own different primary weapon and different abilities that combine with the inherent Titan the mechanics that every Titan has. And this tutorial is supposed to teach us, generally speaking, how each of those go. So through this Titan tutorial, we're going to try and use these abilities in specific ways. Because the Titan tutorial is semi on a timer, semi on killing a specific number of enemies in order to progress it, we are going to be trying to use these abilities in specific ways to manipulate the Titan tutorial to progress as fast as we possibly can. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hold up our Vortex Shield, which is the first ability we get access to. Kill everything from the first wave. It's fine if one guy on the left lives here, as long as it's one guy on the left. Then on the second wave, we aim to the right, leave the two on the top right okay. That spawns another wave in the middle. We take out all the mid-wave in the middle. Then hopefully we take out both of them. Very nice, because they both died. We now immediately go into the second phase. We'll use missiles to take out the first wave of drones and the first wave of specters here. Reflect back the middle two here. That was not the correct choice, but it's okay. We should be able to manage this just fine. Okay, hopefully that should take them all out. And once one enemy is remaining, the game will say, okay, one enemy remaining, let's head into the final part of the Titan tutorial, which is... That's supposed to be a happy face. I don't know why I drew it like that. Anyway, it's supposed to be a mini-boss fight against a Titan. So we're going to do a strat here known as the double no U. Drop the E-smoke, stand in a specific position, manipulate the Titan, put up his shield, put up our own shield, fire the bullets that they reflected back into us, back at them for a bit of extra damage. Ideally, would have got a few more critical hits on the hatch there to take it out quickly. But that is going to be the end of BT-7274. First level of the game done and dusted. And next up, we're going to head into the next level, Blood and Rust. I need an audio cue. So I needed the audio cue there to time a dash to make sure I hit the area trigger I needed to at just the right time to start the sequence to end the level. And now we are going to be heading into the next level, Blood and Rust. Viz, if you want to take over.
Alright, so Blood and Rust, we're going to be starting right away with some Titan movement, which is a little bit different than you may be used to, because we've only seen pilot movement so far. And you can see at the bottom we have these two little bars, which are our dash meter. We have two max dashes, and you're going to be seeing Fluffy's going to be using them off of high ground, because we get a good bit of speed from these dashes, and we can keep them by staying in the air. So ground friction is the enemy. Speaking of ground friction, heads of enemies don't have ground friction. Toe slide! There we go. Beautiful as ever. Moving on, we're just going to keep on dashing. We're going to be picking up our very first Titan loadout, Tone. It's going to be very important for the end of this level, but we're going to do a disembark jump into this little cubby area to grab our very first helmet of Blood Rust. Do a little slide out, and we're BT behind, because although BT's our lovely friend, on average, the pilot form is so much quicker, so we will leave BT behind when we can. So, you know, BT's holding up the rear. He's doing a good work back there. We're gonna grab our second helmet, a little bit more swinging out to the right, a little bit more circuitous. Normally, 90% you would go straight to this little opening, drop down here, hit the button, and now we're waiting for a little bit. Fluffy's going to have a little bit of an audio cue. Excellently executed section, by the way, Fluffy.
Thank you. You can keep taking it away. This is a tough section.
Yep. Alright. Fluffy's going to keep on going. One of the things that I'm going to mention briefly, and we'll expand on later, is that this level has a lot of tight corners that you need to take, 90-degree turns, and I mentioned that we do not have as good air control as like Half-Life 2, for instance. So when we need to take like a 90-degree right, we're going to do something called a tap strafe. We're going to be basically mashing W and to make ourselves take this turn, and it's going to shove us in that direction. Fluffy will explain it more towards the end of the level, but for now, we're in Sniper's Canal and trying to make it through alive. There are a lot of snipers here shooting us, and lots of sludge that is going to hurt us. Gonna swing off to the left to grab this third helmet, and we're gonna go into what is called, lovingly, tap straight hallways. You can see all the 90-degree turns. Alrighty, and now we're gonna keep on going all the way up to this door. Once we get closer, it's gonna start opening, and then we're gonna swing out to the left once this opens to then grab our next helmet. Oop. Yep. One other thing about the wall movement that you may not realize just watching is that there's a rule in the game where you cannot grab a wall that faces the same direction as you last grabbed unless you're lower than it. So you can't infinitely climb. So in those situations, it takes a lot of knack and improv skills to be able to climb back height if you lose any of it accidentally. So Fluffy's doing excellent managing all of that, all while playing this game. And, I mean, there's grunts running around. They're trying to get in Fluffy's way. Gonna open this door, immediately go for this pipe, and start making a climb. We're gonna climb to the second to last helmet, grab ourselves an EPG. This is essentially a rocket launcher we can use to damage boost ourselves. Next up, we're going to be setting ourselves for what is called a bump launch. Going to shove ourselves into the corner, hold crouch, and then mash jump. It's going to shoot us all the way up. And we're going to get prepared to go right into sludge room. And I think, Fluffy, if you're ready, I can pass it right on back to you.
Yeah, so now we're going to go for something known as Sludge Skip. This goes by very quickly, but I'll explain it as best I can. We're effectively going to be skipping a 3-minute auto-scroller, a fight sequence here. But effectively, we're manipulating BT to stay where he is by using dialogue at the right time. The goal is to hit this button and then navigate over to this pipe over here, which has a gap in the invisible wall in the sludge, and by keeping BT where he is, we can embark into him through the wall, which clips us straight through it, and skips the entire sludge fight sequence, allowing us to progress through the game, and hitting that button is necessary to progress forward in the game, otherwise the game does soft lock. So we're going to swap over to the Tone loadout here, as we're coming up to the end of the level here, because we're going to be going up against our first real boss fight of the game, which is against the Mercenary Kane. And depending on the strategies you use, you'll either have or not have the Tone loadout. But thankfully, we do have the Tone loadout here, so we can go ahead and do the fastest fight strat here. That's how this goes. I can speak correctly. All right. So the main goal here is to optimize uses of the various missile barrages that Tone has. So that's going to involve us getting lock-ons. We're going to dash forward, fire this to get lock-ons on both of them, fire 4 shots into Kane, ideally. Down 2 shots into the Brute. This gets double lock-on all the missiles into the Brute in order to take it out. Fire 1 more, get a swap reload, which switches, by switching loadouts, you reload faster than if you just, reloaded the gun fast normally. We get an ultimate ability that we fire into Kane. 1 more lock-on will be enough to take him out, and that is the Kane fight all done and dusted, and that is the end of Blood and Rust. Now, this is the good time, since we have about a minute here, to show off properly how lurch works and how we manipulate that to use in the case of tap strafing. So effectively, in Titanfall 2, I believe Viz may have explained it, but I'll go into a little more detail. There's a little helper mechanic for moving in the air if you're not familiar with source controls called lurch. And effectively what it is every time you jump, you have a very brief window where tapping a direction will cause you to lurch slightly in that direction. We can take advantage of that to basically circumvent the low air acceleration. So if you see if I jump here and then try and turn really fast, I just lose all my speed instantly. But if I then jump and do some lurches in 45-degree angles while also turning in that direction, we can make those tight turns and also keep a lot of our speed. That is the technique known as tap strafing, and it is extremely useful for tight corridors. So, with that being said, we're all done with Blood and Rust. We're heading into the Abyss 1. This is also involved stage, so I'll let you all take away.
Alright, Fluffy's going to immediately pull a frag here to try to get a frag boost going. Very finicky start to this level. The geo here can be a little bit rough, but... Ooh! And frags are very difficult. You have to be on the margins to get the speed you want. Fluffy's going to keep on going. We have the EPG, luckily, so we can go a little bit faster with these EPG boosts. Really, I used to be okay at these. All helmeters are very good at these. Alrighty, and we're going to keep on going. We're basically doing a mad dash for all the helmets in the stalling area, and then we're going to leave BT behind once again, because the BT, again, love them dearly, not that fast. Compared to a frag boost and a consistent 60, because we only get 60 kph from BT whenever we have a dash. And so Fluffy's going to do a little bit of movement here to keep on moving through the level. We're going to try to gain our height here from kicking off all of these different walls. Oh, very nicely done, even with a little bit of confusion on some of the wall grabs, but really quick adaptation from Fluffy. Means really stellar gameplay so far. I mean, I couldn't say it when it was happening, but it was really great Blood and Rust. Alright, and right there you saw we grabbed the wall there, and the wall kind of just flew right past us, clipping us out of bounds, and now we're going to do the rest of this level out of bounds for a little bit, because there is usually a progression locked away behind a Titan fight. Gave Fluffy a little bit of time there to listen to that frag, to get that frag boost. We're going to be navigating out of bounds, and then there's this big door where a Titan fight would normally happen. We're going to now slide underneath it using all of our speed, because there's a nice little invisible floor here. We're going to grab this wall, hit a dialogue trigger, and then immediately navigate over here to a quick death trigger. We're going to die, then spawn on the other side of the door, immediately progressing past what used to be locked behind a Titan fight, and where we would need BT. We're going to grab this helmet, immediately revert checkpoint. Helmet grabs are saved through checkpoint reverts, and so that can be a very important thing in our routing, because it's quicker to revert checkpoint there instead of needing to climb all the way back up after going down to grab that helmet. After we hit this button, BT is going to get kidnapped, and we're going to go out of this building and hit a button on a platform that's going to be rising. After we hit this button, we're going up Fluffy. Oh, never mind. Death trigger goes away when you hit that button, so we can hit the end level trigger a little bit earlier and finish the level that tiny bit quicker. Really excellent work there, Fluffy.
Yeah, a bit of a rough start for that level, but we brought it through in the end. Alright, so, next up is Into the Abyss Chapter 2. It started off immediately with a platform momentum conservation launch to get up to extremely high speeds immediately, and we're going to try and keep as much as the speed we can. We do a quick little wall jump here. Ooh, okay, we can grab this wall, a little bit of a quick backup there. Accidentally missed my timing, so lost all my speed. But thankfully, losing all my speed there is not the end of the world, because, unfortunately, even if you could keep all of your speed, and can keep all of your speed through this section, this level is unfortunately an auto-scroller. Basically, once you load into the level, there is a assembly line sequence that starts, and the first of these moving platforms to reach the very last part of the assembly line takes the same amount of time to get there no matter what. So in the meantime, we have a helmet to get, and we're going to do some stuff to do that. First off, another bit of momentum conservation here, where we take a lot of speed here. We're going to hit this fence and lose all of it, but that's no big deal. As I said, with this level being an auto-scroller, it is quite literally not the end of the world to make movement mistakes here, as long as you reach where you need to go before a specific amount of time has passed. But with all helmets specifically, we don't take a line that we do in any percent. We're instead going to be needing to grab a helmet. And there's a few ways that you can go about doing that. I'm going to be taking the rather ancient strats. What you're seeing here is the way that runners used to navigate through this level in any percent before we understood that the level was an auto-scroller. So very interesting to see these older strats come into play just because of the auto-scroller nature of this level. With that being said, we're coming up on the where the area that the helmet is at, and I want to see the cycle I'm on. Okay, so I'm on fast cycle here. Okay, so that platform over there would have been first cycle. Fast cycle is still very good, well ahead of the curve, plenty of time to spare, so we can take this next part a little bit safely. If we're a little bit behind, we would try and use more of a platform launch to get to where we need to go quicker, but since we are well ahead of schedule, I'm going to just make sure that we can do this. Grab the second helmet. We're going to wait here for the next platform to get into place and go onto that one instead. Alrighty, slide right on there. So effectively, this area over here is the final part of the auto-scroller sequence. As long as we get to where that is and get on that platform there before it heads into the next part of the level, we are more than good. And so we got plenty of time to do so. The main goal here right now is going to be taking out a few enemies that pose the most risk of causing any potential problems. We got the platform coming into place here. We're going to try and make sure a lot of these ticks are taken out. And about now, I'm going to cloak and get into position on this part of the crane arm here, and then set myself up in a specific position for a later portion of the level. And this is going to be a bit of an auto-scroller sequence here, where we're not really doing anything but waiting. So we can take away for some messages and other stuff.
Absolutely. I have a $15 donation from Sylvie. Amazing game, amazing runner, amazing commentators, and an amazing cause. Looking forward to an amazing run. So far, nothing short of amazing has been happening so far, and I think we're just only going up from here. We also have a very generous $50 anonymous donation with no comment, but thank you so much. That puts us, y'all, at $7,250 raised for the Transgender Law Center. That is incredible, but I know we can do more. I know that we have the rest of this run together, and I know that we can do some amazing things while Fluffy is doing some amazing things in Titanfall 2. So please, any amount that you are able to donate will go towards an amazing cause and will help us raise even more for Transgender Law Center over the course of this event.
Alright, so what I'm doing here is a trick known as dome launch. So I set myself up in a position and looked at a specific place to have a visual cue, and that visual cue is used to time a jump. So effectively what I did there is the crane arm, for a very brief period of time, has the perfect speed and angle to shoot us up straight up over to that scaffolding over there, and that scaffolding has an area trigger used to progress to the end of the level. So we take advantage of platform conservation to shoot ourselves up all the way over there and skip a climb sequence. And that is the second fastest way to finish this level. There is a faster strat known as the railgun, which is extremely impressive. However, it is currently out of my league in terms of my ability to do it. Now, this is dome skip. That was a very complicated trick that I can definitely explain to you, because it's not actually that complicated. Effectively, there's just a missing piece of collision with that geometry there, that if you crouch and hold and just walk through it, it cannot stop you. So that's just an easy way for you to get out of bounds. From here, we're going to stand, I think I need to be a little bit higher? There we go. Okay. So we navigate out of bounds to about here. Can I be a bit higher? I don't know if I'm in the right spot, actually.
You look like you're in the right spot.
Yeah, that should be good. Okay. The long and short of it is, when we fade to black here, the game is going to teleport us off in the distance. Where we're standing is directly above the end level trigger, so once we teleport, we fall into the end level trigger and finish the level immediately. Alright, now that that's done, we're going into the Abyss Chapter 3. Hey, Saf, do you want to yap for a bit about how this works?
Oh, sure.
Alright.
Yeah. This is really funny because this is one of my notoriously least favorite levels, but we start through here when we're bouncing and we time our jump specifically underneath and like we bonk our head there. We actually can keep a lot of speed through here. Fluffy's gonna go ahead and bump launch up the sides of these cylinders. There's just like a little wedge we can wedge ourselves in right there, which gives us the proper amount of height to get all the way over to this helmet right here without having to activate the little cylinder cutscene. It's not like a cutscene, but activate the cylinders moving there. And we're going to keep on moving through here, through this area called the Sept Caverns. This is because of a runner in the community who routed a lot of the movement through this area, S-Deception. We're going to jump over through here, grab onto this platform, and we're going to use that momentum and kick off of a rock right here to get to the helmet, which is on the other side. And yeah, we move through really safely, really cleanly. BT, I just need you to get back a little bit.
I had the prompt for a second, but unfortunately it didn't give it to me.
He just likes to run away there sometimes. He's a little afraid of dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just moving our way through the rest of Abyss 3 right now. We go off to the left of these Titans, and if we move as far left as Fluffy did there, they don't really tend to aggro as much and don't tend to move in our way. Is it time for 2-tone 2-slide?
Not
quite.
Barely not.
Yeah, he backed up a bit too far for it. Alright.
That's just a little tone slide. And Fluffy's gonna go ahead and
we're gonna be doing E-Smoke.
Yeah, E-Smoke Ash Skip. Since we did not grab one of the Titan loadouts in Abyss 1, since we did most of that level Titanless, we don't have the Brood, which would have the hover ability, which normally would let us hover out of bounds, clip out of bounds, and skip the entirety of the Ash cutscene and the Ash fight. So instead, we're just going to kind of make our way through here, dodge around Ash. We do have to trigger the fight because we don't have another way to get out of bounds. And Fluffy's just going to move over here. As if we put this E-Smoke in the exact specific area, and we get out of BT, he will sort of dash backwards and clip into the door. We can then embark on him, and it will clip us through to the other side of the door. And then that's, honestly, guys, that's Abyss 3.
Yeah,
we're just going to make our way up here.
Yeah, and the great thing about this is the end level trigger for this level is always loaded in. So we don't have to worry about killing Ash at all, thankfully. We can just progress through the level normally. So that is Into the Abyss Chapter 3 all done. Next up is going to be Effect and Cause, and this is going to be the first chapter of Effect and Cause. So if you've ever played this game before, this is the level that you remember. If you have somebody who plays this game, who's played this game, this is the level that they talk about, and it is one of the most well-designed levels and super fun to play in a casual experience. And what happened? Weren't we just in a destroyer?
Do you know what happened?
Huh.
I truly have no idea. I've played the game for over 700 hours. No idea.
That's weird.
That's weird.
I'm sure it'll go back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, we were back to the destroyed area where we were, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on, guys.
We'll figure it out.
Bit aside, the long and the short of it... Okay, I have to throw this frag away here. That's unfortunate. So long and the short of it is there is a time distortion in this area, and it's causing us to go backwards and forwards in time, which is the main gimmick of the level. But for the first part of this level, we want to be navigating over and rendezvous with Major Anderson, which is this guy over here. He's just hanging out in the ceiling. Don't worry about it. He's just going to hang out there. He's fine, definitely. We do need his helmet, though, because the helmet contains some data and information that we need in order to progress the mission forward. However, once we hand the helmet over to BT, we are going to be in about 1.5 minutes of a cutscene that we can't really skip, so this is a perfect time to take it away with more messages.
All helmets -1.
Rip this helmet.
You know, that helmet did a good service, though, and we're appreciative of it. I do want to take a minute and remind everyone what it is that we are here raising money for and have been this whole weekend. Transgender Law Center is the largest national trans-led organization advocating self-determination for all people. Since 2002, they've been organizing, assisting, informing, and empowering thousands of individual community members towards a long-term national trans-led movement for liberation. And y'all, we have raised $7,250 for TLC just this weekend. How much more do you think we can get? We don't have that much time left. Fluffy is moving with a lot of space. I see what you did there. And I want to know how far we can take this, how high we can go. So please, any donation that you are able to give us will help us make that number go up, but also go towards an incredibly important cause, especially in today's world.
All right. Thank you very much for those messages. Get those donos in chat. Transgender Law Firm. Wonderful cause. So here, we're going to wait for BT to raise his arm, and then we're going to try and time a jump to get on the top of this zip line as it becomes actionable. The reason we do this is because there's an invisible wall in the way there that is preventing us from getting into this building that we need the zip line in order to bypass. So timing our jump to make sure that we grab the zip line the moment it's possibly grabbable is the quickest way to get in here. Now we're going to be setting up for a trick known as FTL, or Faster Than Light. This is a trick that's going to take advantage of the laser grids that exist in Effect and Cause, that when we hit them, we get shot out of them at high speeds thanks to damage boosting. So we're going to try and get in position for that. I'll need a bit of a visual cue here. That should be good. That's too far. Yeah, okay. No worries. I'm not gonna try it again because it tends to be a bit finicky on occasion whenever I just decide to go for it, so we're just gonna continue through. The ideal is we would have been shot at high speeds and been able to get through this final sequence of the level and finish it immediately, but no big deal. We are going to go ahead and head into Effect and Cause Chapter 2. This is the level in which those time swaps that have been happening no longer are scripted, but rather they're now in our control. So we now get the best button prompt in the game, which is press button to time travel. And Viz, if you want to take it over.
Okay, we're going to be immediately leveraging our ability to time travel to get obstacles out of our way and be able to press buttons in other timelines. So you can see Fluffy's going to be constantly weaving in and out of other timelines, trying to get not only obstacles, grunts, and all sorts of other things out of the way. Gonna go for a frag boost here. Nicely done. Gonna carry all that speed all the way to this elevator shaft where we're gonna say hello to some guys. Hello! And then climb up this elevator shaft, do about 6 jumps, turn around and grab our first helmet of ELC2. Alrighty, and we're gonna go on ahead and we're gonna press this button, open this door, and we're basically in a little exposition cutscene.
Yay!
Yeah, so this is a good time to give you a little fun fact about how the level is constructed. So every time you're swapping time, what's actually happening, if you look here, you see Major Eli Anderson. Oh wait, I need to actually get in position for something. I'll explain on the next one. Okay, I had to wait for a cue there to try and set up a 3-speed a little bit early because of that, but no big deal. We'll set up for wall kicks to get this second helmet here. Try if we can. Didn't quite work. We would have ideally liked to have transferred all of our speed into this doorway, but no big deal. And now we can talk about it, where Major Eli Anderson, and then we swap time. He's no longer down there, but he's up there. See, what's happening is every time we are swapping time, we're actually being teleported up and down a specific amount of distance, because this level is actually 2 levels stacked on top of each other, and that's how they simulate the time swap, by just warping you up and down. I just YOLO'd that. I didn't even do the setup, and I still got it. That's amazing.
That was so gamer.
You're just that cool.
All right.
Alrighty. I'll take it from here, Fluffy. Yep. Alrighty, we're going to be heading into a room that we call Hell Room, not only for its color, but also for its difficulty. This room is incredibly difficult. It is basically floating platforms above a void that will instantly kill you. Oh my goodness, when did you get sexuals?
Let's not worry about it.
Okay, so we're gonna keep on trying to move on through this room and changing time to make sure we have platforms underneath us that don't, that way we can survive. Or if you're gonna do some particular management with time, to grab this helmet in this only one timeline that exists. Oh, really finicky. Got it. Nicely done. But we can spot our very last helmet here. It's gonna be in the present timeline. And we're gonna keep on going on through this little corridor here. We're gonna swap time to get everything out of our way. Oop! And then drop down through these vents. Swap time to land at the very bottom. By the way, very confident that time swapping would fix his problems there.
I love that sequence at the end, though. Yeah,
It is very cool.
Effect and Cause Chapter 2, and I'm gonna let these two talk about Effect and Cause Chapter 3 because they are both very obsessed with this level, and it's very healthy.
You can take the reins here, actually.
Lovers, yeah, of course. So ENC3 is going to be one of the shortest, I think it is just the shortest level in the entire run. It's about 1.5 minutes long, give or take. You literally just, you time swap, you run through this whole area, you're dodging around Titans and stalkers there. Get to this little terminal that you stab with your knife and hack it. This plot. We're going to jump over here and use a fan boost to damage boost our way around. The goal there is to like pop around that corner with like, you can get up to 90 kilometers per hour there. But honestly, like, just getting the boost is, I think, invigorating a little bit personally. And yeah.
Just get that adrenaline shot, you know?
Exactly. Whole goal here is we just needed to get to this giant glowing blue orb in the center of the level, which we have done so, and we have broken time in the process. So we're just going to zipline our way up to this ship and wall ride our way over. Yep, there's the giant blue orb over there. The arc, it's a really powerful energy source, and we just need to scan it and get readings on it. Way we can find it with the rest of the militia.
With that, we've completed the gameplay section of the best level in the entire game.
Best level.
These are the words of two people who combined, I believe, have over 1,500 attempts in ILs on this level alone. This 1 minute section of gameplay.
That's us.
It's so normal about this level.
Alright, so that is the end of Effect and Cause. That is all done. We lose control of the ability to swap time now, but that is okay. So as we load into the next level, you're going to see me immediately exit to the main menu. And the reason for this is very simple. We need some Titan loadouts that we've skipped, and we're going to actually load the game from Mission Select in order to grab them. So you can see as I go to Mission Select that the beacon is accessible, and therefore we load in, and this is to give us the Titan loadouts that we skipped, which there are a couple we need for upcoming strategies in the Beacon Chapter 3. The downside to that is we do spawn with a little bit of inferior weapons. Different strategies would have you do this load to menu thing on earlier levels. I choose to do it here because of the strategies that I choose, as it prevents me from having to load to the menu twice. Now, for this part of the level, we want to get over to this building up ahead as soon as possible and take out a bunch of stalkers that are attacking the militia in this building. And the reason for this is pretty simple. BT's on a bit of an auto-scroller sequence walking to a specific position. And by taking out all of these stalkers that are attacking the building, and then returning to BT, the game will start to despawn. I may die here. We're good. We're good. Okay. The game will despawn the remaining stalkers, and if we do this fast enough, there we go, BT will say threat neutralized, which indicates that we finished the sequence. Now we embark into BT. We have to make sure that we embark after BT says, caution, I detect poisonous chemicals, traces of poisonous chemicals in the fog, because if he starts that line after we've already embarked into him, the game will actually crash to the main menu, and we don't want that to happen. We'll do a little bit of a strategy here to manipulate BT to get off this elevator. We light this thermite on the ground, which causes him to back up, and just like normal source mechanics, oh, the NPC needs to get to a location, but it can't physically navigate there, it'll warp BT to the location that we're looking for. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick up this L-Star for later. We'll use it in Beacon Chapter 3. For the time being, I'll pick up this Mastiff as well, even though I probably won't use it. Now we'll set up to walk into here, which is where the end level trigger is once this dialogue is finished. Basically what happened there before is by despawning the rest of the stalkers, the game incorrectly thinks that, rather correctly thinks that we finished a sequence that we hadn't even technically started, which allows us to finish the level really soon. That was a dialogue skip that was found by Tronjavolta pretty early on. Alright, and now we're heading into the most storied and popular IL in the game, Beacon Chapter 2. This is a lot of focus, so I'll let Viz take it away.
Alrighty, Fluffy's going to immediately take a detour to the right and slide down the side of these stairs, because sliding downstairs is actually slow. It's actually coded into the game. We're going to be doing our best to take a lot of speed off of a lot of walls. This level is a test of pure fundamental wall mechanics, essentially. As you can see, so many walls to kick off of, so the ceiling for speed, since every single wall is a source of speed, like I said in Ravines, is very, very high. So what we're going to do here, since we need a helmet, we're going to go into a room that we lovingly call Kill Room, grab this first helmet here, and then as soon as possible, reset checkpoint, which will take us out of the room. Usually it locks the door behind us, and then we'll pick up a softball, take a little death warp here, and set ourselves up for something called KRS, Kill Room Skip. Oop, 46 could be good with good strafing. Oh, that was barely not enough. The margins on this trick are really, really small. The death floor is like right at where Koopa's toes would be if he lands, and that was a stunning second try KRS. Really good speed. Fluffy's going to be carrying as much speed as they can down this corridor. Keep on moving and trying to just get down to find ourselves a friendly little arc tool. Hit this button, turning off this fan, dropping all the way down. We're going to get prepared to get an arc tool from a friendly little Marvin. Thank you, goodbye, hello. Alrighty. And now we have the Octo where so we can activate a bunch of buttons and doors. Saf, do you want to take the rest of Beacon 2?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, don't be sad that the Marvin died. Be happy with the times we had with him, you know? The rest of this level is literally, we are dodging around these giant fans that are basically pushing us back, and it's sort of like a little puzzle with the arc tool. We can activate those little nodes in order to make our way across. Fluffy does there a little softball launch in order to not have to touch the wall over there. It's a little bit faster, especially if you do have the softball here, which you might not have in normal any %. And right here is going to be one of the biggest fan boosts. It is just pushing us through this whole area at 100 kilometers per hour. Fluffy does a little corner cut there to cut down on some speed. And now they're just going to make their way through for fast fans. If we just kind of slam into that wall, and because we have so much speed built up, we just move our way through at 50 kilometers per hour. And like we said earlier, it's slow to slide downstairs. It's also slow to slide upstairs. So we stand up and just kind of mash jump in a rhythm in order to make our way up those stairs. Heck you, Tron, by the way, is just what I want to say to that.
All right. So now we have entered Beacon Chapter 3, and this is a good time to talk about the updates on the lore. So we scanned the Arc, and we realized that, oh, it's a big old power source for the Fold weapon, which is a weapon that can fold space and time and destroy planets. It's the Death Star, it's the Death Star, it's the Death Star. With that being said, we now need to send that data to the militia fleet to say, hey, you know, we got shot down, we need backup here. They have a planet-destroying weapon that we need to, you know, take out. And what we got the ARC tool for was to repower the generator so that we can send that message. And that allows me to go into this part here. So the game is supposed to tell you that, oh yeah, you're taking constant damage during this time. You know, there's a lot of radiation in here. You need to be fast. But you actually have super high HP regen during this part, so you can basically not die as long as you don't take enough damage to kill you instantly. So you can go into that room that's supposed to be irradiated, take a nap, come back, and you'll be fine. It's very funny. But while we're waiting for the next part of the cutscene here to finish, this is a good time to talk about the spoken language. You may have noticed the spoken language is in Mandarin. Mandarin, because of the way this game works, there are triggers to progress the game that are tied specifically to the spoken dialogue. And having the spoken language be in Mandarin is 38 seconds faster than English and is the fastest language that we know of. The reason I bring it up here in Beacon 2 specifically is of those 38 seconds, this one level has 12 seconds of that time save. So this is a very, very big amount of time save just from swapping the spoken language.
Fluffy, just because I'm curious, what's the fold weapon like again?
In terms of how much time save?
No, the fold weapon just in
What does
terms
it do?
of planet, like what does it do again? I'm just curious.
It folds space and time and destroys planets.
Sort of like.
Sort of like the Death Star.
Oh, okay, cool. Just making sure.
Alright, we're gonna get set up here for moon boots.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to jam ourselves in a corner. Ideally, I would have had my correct Titan load out there, but I didn't because of slightly incorrect. We're going to use the hover ability on the Brute and disembark while flying by jamming ourselves in a corner. Disembarking while flying is unintended. This reduces our gravity by 15%, and this is a glitch known as Moon Boots. This is integral to a trick coming up by the name of Super Fastball, which we'll be doing a variant of for all helmets called Super Curveball. In the meantime, though, because we still need to collect some helmets, during the sequence where we have to wait for BT anyway, we're going to be going ahead and picking up a couple helmets before we make our way over for BT to put us in his hand. So this is, with Moon Boots, the first part of the equation. The second part of the equation is we're going to hold the spacebar during this cutscene. If we do so, the first frame that we are actionable, we would jump out of BT's hand, giving us the height we need to clear the crane, and allowing us to go through, and I hope you enjoy Super Curveball. I missed that helmet. Okay,
Oh no.
let's do this, because I do need to pick up that helmet. We're just going to try that again. Thankfully, I had a pre-made save here just in case of something like that occurring. Very rare occurrence that I missed that helmet, but it does happen on occasion, so we will try that again. There we go, picked it up that time.
Yay.
I'm going to go for an extended slide hop here, a way to give myself a little bit of extra height in order to clear this gap. Didn't quite get it. So we'll back it up and improvise here as we go for this. We're trying to navigate a route here that we can make our way over to where we're supposed to go as cleanly as we possibly can. We're going to navigate around some of these buildings to get the height we need to hop up over here to this platform, hop on in, and pick up this helmet here. Now we're going to head onto this wall and use some tap strafes to navigate around it in order to progress to the next part. And the routing that we took was very specific because there's a bunch of triggers that we have to hit along the way here in order to progress the level, because missing any one of them can cause you to soft lock the level. We're going to pick up some grab stars here to use for damage boosts, and we're going to do the first one here where we throw it where this helmet is. Pick up the helmet and get a boost from it, and you may have noticed that we were basically at the epicenter of that explosion and we didn't die to it. Grab stars, thankfully, do not kill you even if you are in the absolute epicenter of the explosion, so we can take advantage of that for the biggest possible boosts that we can get. So now we're going to set up for a version of the next boost called P-Zipless or Poverty Zipless, where we do a specific setup that's slower but consistent in order to get this boost. That is a lot of height. Okay. We'll reload checkpoint on that one, that's fine. That was much more than I was used to there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Fluffy's gonna set up for P-Zip again, and then they're gonna be trying to go for a little cheeky little strat called Tesco Meal Deal, and we're gonna see how that works out. It's incredibly difficult to do, and let's wait with bated breath and see.
I didn't get it.
Didn't quite get the activation.
I'll just take the quick spawn, it's fine.
Yeah. Good grab stall backup. And we're just gonna keep on going regular way. Sadly, we're not gonna be seeing any Tesco meal deals. You know, apologies to our Brits out there.
Yeah, in all helmets, it tends to be much slower to. In a situation where you don't get the initial strategy you're looking for Tesco meal deal, it ends up typically being a lot slower to fully commit to doing the strategy versus just doing the intended way. So effectively what we were trying to do there is hit the last 2 triggers in the sequence out of order. Hitting the last 2 triggers in the sequence out of order would have prevented a script from starting that causes infinite respawns of stalker enemies. And that would have allowed us to instantly end the fight the moment the final enemy was dead. But now we're going to be entering a sequence of having infinite amount of respawns. But we can take advantage of that to pick up some of the helmets that we missed along the way while removing the final few enemies from our sight. We're going to be listening to the music here to look for the exact... Oh, we actually just got it immediately. I'm not used to getting the exact timing. But the infinite respawn script ended, we killed the final guy, and then we can just do a bump launch to get ourselves up to where we need to go next, to the next helmet. Shoutouts to, I don't remember who it was that got out, but shoutouts to Skelly for teaching me that bump launch. That is a very useful bump launch. So we use that to get all the way up, and that is the final helmets that we're supposed to grab in the level, but you may have noticed that we actually are only at 8 out of 9. The final helmet in the level... Did I touch the zip line? I did touch the zip line.
You
okay,
did,
we're good.
yeah.
Okay. The final part of the final helmet we're going to pick up during the last part of the level, which is supposed to be a cutscene, but thanks to a strategy known as Elmo Clip, found by our resident Elmo profile picture, Next Racer, we'll be able to move during that sequence and pick up that helmet when we would otherwise be waiting. So the final part of the level is coming up here. It is going to be the boss fight against Richter and the wave fights that come before it. My throat's starting to be a little bit dry, so if one of y'all wants to take over for this for now.
Alrighty. Sam, you can go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So this first little section of the Richter fight, it's going to be 2 sets of Reapers. This first set that drops is actually just like, we're just kind of waiting for the next set, so it doesn't actually matter how fast we kill these guys. We just kind of sort them down. It's the most consistent way. We're going to set up to Arc Wave these 2 that drop right there. That was such a scary Reaper drop because if they drop right on top of you, you will die instantly. Viz knows that very well. And then this final set before the Richter fight is actually going to be 2 Titans that drop. We're going to spawn manipulate them, and then Fluffy is going to flame wall them in order to move them closer to them. That way we can just kind of burn them down using our little flame traps and flame duping, where if we look up with the flame shield, it actually dupes the amount of times that the flame traps like activate and does more damage faster. And moving in, now we're just on Richter. Believe it or not, he cannot be killed here. We found ways to just like get out of this cutscene and like have our gun out, and all the turrets stop shooting at him. We can't kill him there. I don't understand it, but you know, live in La Vida Loca. Fluffy does a specific kind of strat here. It's the Scorch strat. It's not as common in the community, but it is like, it's one of those things that it's like very distinctly Fluffy. It's very, I really quite like it. There you saw was the Elmo clip. We hovered up in order to get on top of that in order to get on top of that geo there, and because we were on top of that geo in such a specific way, we were actually able to get out of BT while we were hovering, which lets us retain our moon boots through this whole section, which makes this whole last helmet strat here possible. Elmo clip there saves about 3 seconds. I know they mentioned it earlier, but now we're just literally, we have moon boots. We're waiting for the end of the level dialogue to finish. We're just waiting for the end level cutscene to show up, and we literally just are making our way back to the helmet over here. The helmet is in that building that we originally stopped by on earlier, where the big trigger is for that fight. We can literally, we ride the zipline back.
I'm gonna miss it, yeah. I messed up my movement on the way there, so we're not gonna be able to get it. What is the checkpoint here? Okay, that's fine. We'll lose the time to set it up because it's inconvenient to get that helmet either way at this point. So okay, that's not good. I'm gonna try that again. I kind of
Geo is so precisely mapped. It's a real problem.
I always say respawn. Okay.
I do need to basically maintain my speed as best as I can through here because there's a limited amount of time that you have control during what's meant to be like an in-game cutscene. So if I go slow enough, I won't be able to get over to where I need to go before the sequence finishes, which would cause me to... Okay, this is not good again.
协议2，坚守任务，回报情报给隶属 SRS 单位的舰队。
I always say Respawn mapped out every single rock with the most precise geomaps they could, and left a hole in the wall for Abyss 2.
I didn't get it again. Alright, one more try, and then if not, we'll just go ahead and skip this helmet. It's not the end of the world if we turn this into a some helmets run. But also, it is all helmets for a reason.
Pretty much all the helmets.
Yeah, I mean, all the ones we saw, I mean, we don't know if there's one there. We never saw it.
A vast majority of the helmets.
All helmets, asterisks, yes.
All helmets, asterisks, Oopsie Daisy. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to throw something out here to the chat. If you have been mesmerized by this gameplay, we are only $250 away from our event goal of $7,500, y'all.
Okay, I picked it up in the dark screen. We're good. We're good. We're good. I did it.
Look at that.
Clutched it at the last second.
It was always there.
And
Yeah, I want to know, can we get there? Can we get to that $7,500 by the end of this run? I think we can, y'all. I think we can do it.
got about half an hour left, so...
代理铁狱步枪兵杰克库珀。
Yeah.
Any amount of money helps.
的选择。
All of it is going towards an amazing cause, in addition to helping celebrate an entire weekend of amazing gaming and this amazing gaming happening right here, right now in Titanfall 2.
Alright.
Titans are falling.
So, the lore that's happening here is we've contacted the militia fleet. Sarah Briggs says, oh, hey, BT, I noticed that your pilot got killed. That's okay. We can get you to a fully qualified pilot. And BT, like a bro, is like, objection. Cooper is my pilot. Our combat effectiveness rating now exceeds 90%. So he has to retain the link, and Sarah says, okay, cool, we're short on time. You can do that. Which allows us to keep being with BT as we head into the next level, which is Trial by Fire, which is wholly unique among the levels in Titanfall 2, because this is the level that has the most Titan combat, and just combat in general of basically any level in the game. The entire first section is going to be a combat section that turns into an escort quest that we get to the next point. So, first out of the gate, we're going to be trying to set up for something known as Encore, but to do that, we first need to do something known as Rob Core. So, we're going to be starting our movement out in a very specific way to try and get 100% core, which we can think of as our ultimate meter, immediately right out of the gate. So we do this movement. Around here we put up Sword Block with Ronin, which reduces our damage taken by 75%. With a specific visual cue, I'm going to disembark and re-embark into BT. When we come out of that, we will immediately have 100% core that we can use to set up for Encore, which is a glitch that allows us, as you'll see, to maintain an incredible amount of damage over a period of time. So we'll try that again. Okay, didn't get it. We'll load checkpoint to try it again. Hopefully we get a good checkpoint here. We did not. Okay, swap to Ronin, reset checkpoint, and we'll try that again. I was holding W, so we'll do it again. We do kind of have to set things up in specific ways, otherwise it can be very difficult to get it right. But what Encore is going to entail is swapping from the Brute to the Scorch loadout, and then, like a frame after accepting swapping to the Scorch loadout, we're going to try and use our Titan Core. I don't have enough core, which means I have to set this up again. If this doesn't happen again, I'm just going to do the old Scorch strats for this to keep things going. But the effective way, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the game to use the ultimate ability of one loadout while having the abilities of another loadout, which will let us keep the ultimate ability of that first loadout infinitely. So swap the Scorch, swap the Brute, and then there we go. We just got it set up this time. So now we're using the hover ultimate of the Brute ability while having the abilities of Scorch. I'm going to try and... Okay. This is... This happens on occasion. Alright, we're just gonna go ahead and do the old Scorch strats here, just to make things go quickly here. But effectively, you saw the point of that glitch. We maintain what effectively turns into the strongest primary weapon in the game, while also having the abilities of the highest like area of effect DPS class in the game, which is very useful. So the Scorch strats here are older strategies, but ones I'm still intimately familiar with. Involves using our different abilities to burn down different enemies at specific times, and then using cores to take out as many enemies as we can with that. Not starting off amazing, but no big deal. I'm taking a lot of damage here. I need a battery. Where's the battery? There's the battery. Did you not, sir?
Oh.
Thank you. So we use another core here. So through this sequence, we have to try and take out a specific number of Titans. We're trying to take out as many for Sarah Briggs to give us the line, Pilot You're of Me, or in Mandarin, Tihu Komalai, which I believe I may not have said correctly, but that is effectively what we're looking for. Need one more kill here. We'll go for this tone. We'll swap over the Ronin here since I know probably going to be... Yeah, there we go. There's Tihu Komalai. So now we disembark here as we take out that first one. And we're going to be specifically looking for Sarah Briggs to say Elk 4, Stork 2, lock this area down. That indicates that Sarah has entered the hallway here, which... There we go. So Sarah Briggs has entered the hallway, that's good. So now we just need to make sure that we're taking out specific enemies here to try and prevent Sarah from getting caught up on anything. The reason is the level will not progress going forward if Sarah Briggs does not reach the elevator at the end of this sequence. So that's why we're looking out for the dialogue of Sarah Briggs saying what she said to indicate that she's entered the tunnel, and also taking out what enemies. Now what I just did there is I exited my Titan and went around outside the intended play area. Key thing is not out of bounds. And that skipped a bunch of triggers to spawn in additional Titans, which technically speaking can be slower than just progressing forward normally. However, it's way more consistent than spawning in those Titans and using Titan strats. So we navigate through that little area there to pick up the second helmet. And now we head on over to the elevator, and we're going to set up for moon boots, as well as to do the strategy known as Lone Wolf. And as we get set up here, we're going to start by doing a dash and then using the flight core to let ourselves get to the top of this elevator quicker. Then we're going to come over here, hover up, and as we reach the top, we crouch to get on top of these, and then disembark. This gets BT stuck and also gives us on moon boots, which we will then use for Lone Wolf, and Viz can take it away.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing Lone Wolf here, named because we are leaving BT behind once again, and going through this battlefield that is filled with Titans that are incredibly dangerous to our puny pirate self. We're going to be using our movement and our cloak resource in order to be able to navigate through here and hopefully survive. Fluffy's keeping amazing speed so far, really excellent Lone Wolf, and we're reaching the final stretch here. As we come out of this hangar bay area, we're going to be spotting the ship, which is our final end goal here. And we're going to keep on moving, keep on going, and then hopefully use our cloak to get right to this last trigger here, which is going to start a cutscene, which is not quite the end of the level. Right after this cutscene ends, we're going to do a little bit more movement to get all the way up that ramp. That's when we're going to be able to hit that end level trigger and clear out the ending of Trial by Fire with an incredibly clean Lone Wolf.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything in the moment, but that was beautiful.
Yeah, really only one movement mistake, I think, there in the whole thing. Everything else was just we maintained it perfectly. All right. So, now we've entered the Ark, and this is a level that starts off with an incredibly long auto-scroller. We throw a frag away there in order to get 4 back later on the level, but for now, we can take it away some messages from the host. Do not know if the host is muted, for I cannot hear them currently.
No, you're good. That's on me. But I do want to say thank you for a $10 donation from Anonymous with no comment. Thank you so much. And that does bring us $10 closer towards our event goal of $7,500 raised for the Transgender Law Center. We are doing so much good work here. We still have a little bit of time to do more, so please, any donation amount you are able to give will go towards TLC, towards the amazing work that they do for the transgender and gender non-conforming communities, and help us celebrate an incredible weekend of speedrunning and an incredible time here in Titanfall 2.
Alright. So, we are now getting introduced to Viper. Viper is the perfect mix of anime, edge, and cool. One of my favorite characters from this game. These are clear. I've got good tone. So, Viper is going to take out the ship that we're on. And if you look in the top right corner here, you can actually see that BT stands up and starts waving at us. Hi, BT. Hey. Hi. What's up?
Hi.
Alright. So now we're going to go for a... the trick with the most variants here, known as Barker Skip. We're going to be using a frag boost with some audio cue to try and jump from one ship to the other here. So let's see if we can't get this set up perfectly. And perfect. First try Barker Skip. Always a very good feeling to get. Okay, so now we're going to go for 6-4 Skip, which involves jumping from this ship that we're on, the 6-4, over to the Malta. We're going to try and take advantage of an invisible wall here, which we didn't end up taking advantage of. Please grab that wall, thankfully. Okay, that was the most unorthodox way I've ever done that, but I am so glad that I managed to do that. That was very interesting. Anyway.
It worked!
It worked. The intent there was to hit an invisible wall to guarantee that we touched the ship, but we didn't end up hitting the invisible wall. Instead, we just navigated over to the first helmet perfectly with absolutely nothing going wrong, so that's amazing. Next up is going to be this section where we're supposed to take out the 3 gun batteries, but the game actually only checks to see if we've killed the 3rd one, so we're going to cook a frag, throw it here to take out those 2 sitting by on the gunner seat. Then we're going to take out these 2 guys here, and that immediately takes them all out, which is perfect. Now we have to look out for Draws coming down here first instead of Davis, or is it the other way around? Okay, yeah. Draws coming down first instead of Davis causes Draws to fly off in the distance infinitely, and that soft locks the level, so have to pay attention to that to make sure that we don't accidentally, or that we don't soft lock and ruin everything. Now we're going to set up to do a version of Early Sarah where we end up inside of her ship. Because the 2nd helmet is inside of the ship here. Okay, so we're just going to land on top and wait for it to even out here. Lest we become a victim of very bad platform momentum conservation, which can both shorten and raise our jump height. And now we head into a hangar clear sequence where we have to take out either a specific number or a specific set of enemies. I don't remember which one it is, but the 6-4 is scripted to take out one of those 2, and then what we have to do is take out the rest. So we're going to set up to take out specific enemies at specific points. Ideally, we would have gotten fire stars for this strategy. However, arcs grenades are a close second in terms of making that work. We're going to hop up to hit another set of enemies that are going to spawn over here. Ideally, once we take these all out, we will very quickly hear Gates say the room's clear, which indicates that the hangar clear, there we go, the hangar clear section is complete. And as we're doing that, we'll navigate over here. Loud sound warning. Sometimes my game likes to play a really loud sound here, so just be careful if you're a headphone user. You may experience extremely loud sound. And thankfully, in all helmets, we don't really have to worry about Gates RNG. You saw there for a second that Gates took a very long time to get up here, which sometimes that does happen, where Gates will take a very long time, and that can be a way that you lose some time here that's out of your control. But this is a standard breach and clear section where the game wants us to help the 6-4 clear out the bridge here, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to plug in my controller. I'm going to get on the module here, and now I'm going to use the controller to steer the ship because having analog control instead of digital control makes me feel like this is more consistent. and there's no rules against changing your control scheme in the middle of a run. So we're going to have to steer the ship directly behind the Draconis in front of us. And there we go. Now we just have to make sure that we don't die. Okay, no fall timer bug out, no crash. That is a very infamous part of the game because you can just crash and have the fall timer in this level kill you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But now we're going to head into the boss fight against Viper, and we're going to set up first. Voodoo 1, Viper's on station. Your run ends here, pilot. The RNG belongs to me. No time to save. No run to bless. So, we're going to start off by charging up a laser shot. Fire 1, fire 2, swap over to the tone loadout. Fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, into Viper. Fire all those volleys and try and shoot past the Scorches. Fire another volley into him and then swap on over to the Expeditional loadout. Once Viper is down, we're going to swap over to the Ronin loadout to take out these two guys here. Exceptionally done. That is the Viper Zerg strategy. The second fastest strat that we have, second only to using Snake Splitter, which I have not yet properly learned, which is the reason I'm doing Viper Zerg. But that was a very excellent... I'm out of breath. I am.
That was gorgeous. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, Fluffy.
Yeesh. Alright. So...
That was a fast one.
Yeah, because we did that fight very fast, we are now going to have to do one last little trick here known as a mantle flip. So you'll see the background is going to end up extremely foggy and smoky and cloudy. This indicates that we're actually out of bounds because there is a slowly moving bounding box. Actually, we didn't have to do it. We just barely did it slow enough that we don't have to do it. But ideally... if we did do it fast enough, we would have had to use the mantle mechanic to clip back in bounds. But either way, we don't have to worry about that. We just have to get our shots in. There we go. Viper is down. That is him dusted. And that is the end of the arc. Effectively, at this point, we are on a 1 minute 55 second sequence where as long as we stay... as long as we follow along with the sequence, we won't lose any time. So this is another fantastic time for messages from the host.
I have a very interesting $10 donation here from Biz, who says, more monies for a good cause. Thank you so much for that $10 donation, which brings us closer and closer to $7,500 raised for TLC. And unless I'm mistaken, there really isn't that much time left here in this run to help us get as close as we can towards that goal. So if you are able and you see something you like and you would like to help us celebrate and raise money for a great cause, ! Donate in chat will bring you the link that you need to take you to our Tiltify account where you can donate and help us raise as much money as we can for the Transgender Law Center.
All right. And yeah, folks, there is only at this point about 12 or so minutes left in the run in the worst case scenario. So get those donos in. I believe in you, chat. I absolutely believe in you. All right. So as we come into the final part of the level here, the game wants us, after we've put the arc into BT, to escape. However, we will not be able to escape. So we're going to hit both sets of dialogue here. This calls us to get to the final part, finish this sequence done quicker than letting the timer run out, which is pretty rare to happen. Whether or not we do or do not select dialogues and what dialogue we do select tends to be pretty random. Or not pretty random, but pretty inconsistent across the board. But sometimes selecting it is faster and sometimes is not. Now, you all donated for a stretch goal that got met on the first day, which was the Fold Weapon voice acting incentive. We are now on the final level, and thank you all for meeting it. I'm going to have some fun. First and foremost, let me just... Okay. Blisk, your problems are not my concern. Once you have delivered the Ark as per your contract, your payment will be transferred by the IMC. Just have my money ready. I'll get you your precious cargo, you useless niff. Oi, Titan! You're gonna open up and give me what I want. Voice command, not recognized. Ah! Let me just rip it out of them! Can't risk it. The Ark's unstable. Listen, hero. You have what's mine, and I want it back. Go on. Tell your Titan to open up. About what? His feelings? Still trying to be a hero, eh? I have a lot of dust running on this contract, my friend. So tell your Titan, if he doesn't open up, I will shoot you in the head. Pilot in jeopardy. Ocular systems marginal. Cannot visually acquire pilots. Stand him up! You see him now? Right here. Right here. Yeah? You see him now? Functions compromised by severe crash damage. I don't care how broken you are. I know deep down, something's still working there. Now open up, or I'm going to shoot your pilot in the head. You still remember numbers, don't you? I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, that wasn't so hard, was it? Yeah, that's the problem with teams. If you don't win together, you die together. Fun little fact here, if you look on the right side of the screen, Blisk just goes whoop, directly into the ground. I will indicate a flashing lights warning here. We're going to be having some flashing lights. If you are photosensitive, look away at this time. I will tell you when you can look back. Nice try, love. Say good night. Oi! Get the orc out of here! We're running out of time! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you are allowed to look back at the screen at this point. Thank you so much for reaching that donation stretch goal very early on in the marathon. I always enjoy doing that, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Alright. So, once we regain control here, we're going to back up into the fire. Once we're in the fire, we will walk forward to BT. This will cause him to progress forward in the sequence here about 10 or so seconds faster than if we just walked around normally. Alright, so what's going to happen here is that BT is going to rip off his face, and he's going to give us the Sear Kit. This is the Survive, Resist, Escape. Survive, Resist, Escape. What? Survive, Escape, I don't remember. Anyway, the point being...
Evade, Resist, Escape, I believe.
There we go. Anyway, point being, he gives us a smart pistol, a literal auto-aim pistol, aimbot pistol they put in the multiplayer of both games, a data knife, which he has one in his belt, just don't worry about that, and then BT's data core, which contains the entirety of his AI functions. So as long as that is intact, our friend BT will still be alive. So we're going to do another super glide here, one you saw all the way back at the beginning of the game to get up to speed immediately, stab our data knife into this terminal, do another super glide, and Viz, take her away.
Alright, we're going to get right away into this little intro section of movement. We're going to be immediately putting this small pistol to use, getting rid of any grunt that dares cross our path, and doing a lot of little movement here, hopefully killing a lot of speed underneath this doorway here. Had a little bit of hitch up. Cooper decided to slide for a little bit. It's hard to kind of predict that sometimes. He got a little bit of a magnet butt. And so we're going to keep on continuing speed underneath these garage doors and into the little U-turn hallways over here. Going to try to carry our speed down, utilizing tap strafes to try to make sure we can get as much out of all these walls as possible. Into the cooling vent areas where, once again, we're in wall central. So we're going to do a lot of little kicks here, 1, 2, 3, getting to good, decent amount of speed here. Next up, another going to be a tiny little minor tap strafe, and then hook it to the left. Usually in any percent we would hook it off to the right. But we need to go get a helmet, so we're going to make a little detour. Fluffy's going to kick off a cable here, then get to this little corner, do a little bump launch, mantle up, grab this helmet, and we're off to call back our friend, at least a body for our friend to go back into. Titanfall ready. Back to you, Fluffy.
Alright, so fun fact about this Titan chassis, this is the Titan chassis that we called down all the way back in the tutorial level that was supposed to be the Titan that we used for a little bit of practice in the gauntlet. we put BT into this Titan chassis. So we're going to jump behind BT here. This skips some dialogue that we don't have to go through, as well as an extensively long embark animation, which looks cool, but ultimately just wastes time. So we're going to set it up for something called Snuggle Core here, where we try and shoot power shot through as many enemies as we can. You can get a large amount of speed there. Getting caught up on these guys, that's okay. They gave me a bit of boost forward. So we build up enough core to activate the Ronin Sword Core. And whenever the Ronin Sword Core is activated, as you can see, the dash meter refills much quicker than it normally does, which is one of the fastest ways that we have to move around through the level. So we're going to go ahead now and swap over to Brute, because I don't think I picked up North Star. I don't remember if I did or not, but either way, we'll swap over to Brute, because we do need Brute to get over in this position. We're going to do a disembark jump, did not get it, so we'll go for the backup here. Ideally, we would have gotten a disembark jump to get to the distance we needed to get up to this second helmet over here. Now that we got this second helmet, we'll head into the final sequence of the game, over to the final helmet of the game. Whew.
Yep, lots of gameplay happening. I mean, this is a tough game, and it is incredible to be able to commentate at the level Fluffy does it while playing. Fluffy's going to take a little bit of a climb here, a little bit secure this ride to try to get all this height to get all the way up to this helmet. It's really out of the way and quite high up on the map, so a little bit awkward to get up there, but we're going to grab it, and that does it. We officially have all the helmets that we need to collect for the all helmets category. All that we need to do is finish out the run. So we're going to get over to this last area, we're going to hit a trigger, and it's going to put us into our good friend BT, ripe and ready for the final boss fight of Titanfall 2, where we're going to be fighting Sloan.
I think a militia pilot's trying to be a hero. He's all yours. Keep the salvage. Who said anything about salvage? I'll do this one for free. Alright, so this fight strategy, we're going to be doing a fight strategy known as Fizzy Sloan. We're going to start off with Ronin, fire the Arc Wave. All 4 of our shots, swap over the Brute. Hopefully we get Sloan to disappear here. Very nicely done. Swap over the Scroop. Spawn up this first wave of Titans here. Do a Flame Trap dupe, as well as hold up our Flame Shield to take them out immediately. We check where the Brute is here. Just try to get the Brute out of the way. Hope that they don't mess with us. Put down this Flame Wall. Start walking towards Sloan to manipulate her into the wall, if we do this right. Okay, there we go. If we did it right, she would have entered the second phase here. We'll use the Ronin Sword Core to do 1, 2, 3 slashes, take out each of those Reapers. Then, once we take out the 3 Reapers, there's 1 entity left. We'll go and spawn Manip Sloan one last time. We build up enough core from doing this in order to have another core that we activate before we start pulling out the Arc Injector. And doing that activates a glitch known as Andy Shot, as well as we did the fight correctly enough that we started pulling out the Arc Injector before the PA system said ring momentum at 97%, which activated another glitch known as Precharge. So we're going to start off with talking about Andy Shot, because you may have noticed that we have our gun out in this section where we're not supposed to have our gun out. And we get to use that to do something very fancy. So we'll get to see that coming up here. Say, Blisk. Sorry to say, but Apex Legends is no longer canon. Because we have our weapon, we can actually kill Blisk in this cutscene. And amazingly, this doesn't soft lock the game, it doesn't crash, hard lock, or anything. It just skips about 33 seconds worth of dialogue, 34 if you get good favorable RNG on the bullet spread. So we found this glitch because a Reddit user by the name of Shot Andy posted one day like, hey, I killed Blisk in this cutscene, here's how I did it. Brian Otto was streaming at the time, tried it out, and then it turns out it's actually a huge amount of time saved during this cutscene. So thanks to Reddit user Shot Andy, we call that trick the Andy Shot. But we now can see, if you look inside the Arc Injector, these lights are lit up inside of it. Pulling out the Arc Injector at the end of the Sloan fight, before the PA system says ring momentum at 97%, causes these lights to stay charged up when they're normally supposed to not be charged up. So they are pre-charged effectively, which is the glitch known as pre-charge, and this saves 11 seconds of skipping the sequence of the lights relighting up as we finish through this cutscene here. Now, with that being said, that's about 45 seconds of time save that we get in this cutscene from these two tricks. And yeah, with that being said, we're coming up on the very final sequence here. As we press B, we'll get shot out of the arc injector. Time will be coming up at the end of this escape sequence. And this is unfortunately the most appropriate time to press F in the chat for BT.
Hi, BT.
Godspeed, you magnificent AI, you. Alright. So, as we come into the sequence, we're going to be trying to go for a trick known as Hyper's Weak Escape. We start off by wall running on the right wall, jumping off, taking a wall kick, and we want to try and hit this trigger as low as possible to give us the best chance for this next part. We stand and slide on this, and we're going to try and strafe up to 48 kilometers per hour. We got 47, so we didn't quite get what we were looking for, so we'll just go for his Weak Escape, which is a slower version of this trick. Time will be coming up just at the end here. We'll count down or so. Oop. Little bit of weird platform momentum there, but no big deal. 3, 2, 1, time.
Yay!
GG.
All right.
Great runs, Fluffy.
So we have one last thing that we have to do, even though time is up, where we quit out to the game and we go to the mission select. 1 out of 1, 2 out of 2, 6 out of 6, 9 out of 9, 8 out of 8, 3 out of 3, 3 out of 3, 3 out of 3, 11 out of 11. That, ladies and gentlemen, is all of the 48 helmets in the game collected in 1 hour 32 real time, 129 RTA, or load removed time. All right. And chat, you did this. You raised all this money. You raised all this money for a wonderful cause. And you raised all that money to let me do the voice acting. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, that is our finale run done. Thank you so much, Speed4 staff, for being patient with me as I have had many issues this week and didn't know if I was going to do this run, but thank you for giving me the finale run. Thank you for being patient with me, and thank you all for raising money for a cause that I genuinely believe in. So I'm going to do my shout-outs here. If you enjoyed that and want to watch more of me, I stream at twitch.tv/LordFluffy. I do various speedruns, Titanfall 2, Final Fantasy XIV All Dungeons, Diddy Kong Racing, Ocarina of Time Randomizers is something I also love to do. Please check out Titanfall 2 speedruns at twitch.tv/Titanfall 2 speedruns. We have our yearly tournament series, Mock March, going on, where we do 1v1 races in IL format, very similar to how a Smash tournament would work with picks and bans and legal stages and all that. And yeah, if you want to find me on Blue Sky, you can find me at bluesky.lordfluffy.social. Yeah. I'll let you guys do your shoutouts now as well.
I don't really have any shoutouts from me, but just to reiterate Fluffy stuff, if you liked what you saw, join the Titanfall 2 speedrun community. That's where you'll find me. I talk probably too much in there, and I run too much EMC3.
Yeah, I got a DM probably 3 days ago that was like, hey, can I have you help out and do comms maybe? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm here completely impromptu as emotional support, and I'm glad to be here because that was an awesome run.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on such a short notice, staff. As I didn't know if I would need you, and frankly, I'm just happy you were here in case of.
Yay!
Right.
Friendship.
I'm gonna go die, and by die I mean lie down, and hopefully this churning in my stomach will stop, and I don't have any issues. So I'm gonna let staff take it away for the finale. Thank you so much for having me. Well, you guys did a fantastic job with this event, as well as all of you for your donations. Wonderful job. I'm gonna let you take it away. Goodbye. Bye. I wave now. Bye, chat. Bye.
Thank you.